What's up, you guys? I know it's been such a long time. If you're new here and you're just now seeing this video, my name is Anaisa Joy. If you're not new here, what's up? Welcome back. I'm so happy you're here. So today actually is something, I'm launching something super duper near and dear to my heart. So I'll just backtrack a little bit and talk about how we got here. I have been practicing as a labor assistant, birth worker, birth assistant. I'm trying to find the name, honestly, but I've been in this field for about a year and a half maybe, and I have learned so much. And I am now introducing to you guys a labor of love, where I talk about all things pregnancy, postpartum, all things labor related, and we go into the real depths, nitty-gritty with that. Now, one thing I do want to say, slight disclaimer: if you are not physically pregnant, I can almost assure you that you are spiritually, and I will back that up with Bible on a later episode. But yeah, so don't let this drive you away, the whole pregnancy vibe, because we're always pregnant in the spirit. And that's one thing that God was really revealing to me, that the more that I worked with women in the natural and I helped them prepare for their labors, for in the physical, to birth a physical baby, the more I saw pregnancy as a true spiritual act. Like, even conception, everything is spiritual. Like, we already know this, and I don't mean that in like a super witchcraft way, but I mean it in a way that God is in everything and his spirit lives in every stage of our lives. So why would this be any different? And it honestly hurts my heart to see that the birth space does not have God in it as much as he needs to be, because when you're in that delivery room and you're having a spiritual experience similar to that of labor, with all your heart, without a doubt, that God is in this thing. So yeah, I just want to bring a different perspective, bring a different narrative, open our minds to the reality that God is present, he is real, and he is always waiting for you. And the time that you would think that you would feel him the most is during pregnancy, and it's so true. A lot of pregnant women say that their intuition is heightened during pregnancy. They say that their dreams are a bit more prophetic or spiritual or deep, or they're getting more insight and revelation. I know that it was like that for me. Like, I had a lot of spiritual encounters, honestly, not in a negative way. I won't say encounters, but coincidences, where I wake up and my ear would be ringing, or I'm waking up at all times of night, like just a lot of stuff. So yes, that's why I'm here. That's how I got here, essentially. Now, as I was thinking of a name for this movement, this brand, this podcast, or whatever, nothing is ever just anything anymore, which is kind of crazy. Everything is so brand related. Like, your life is a brand, everything is a brand. But I really started thinking about how the things that we do in motherhood, even from the moment that we find out we're pregnant, it's all for the sake of love. Like, it's all a work of love. You keep your baby for love's sake. You honor your baby in the womb by eating well, by exercising. You want the best for them, but that's from love. And I remember when I was pregnant and I was sitting in my room, and God was literally all that I had, and I felt so much peace and love from him that I was able to love my baby in a way that I had never done before. And I don't know if y'all know that song, Do for Love by Snow Allegra. Seriously, love her. I am on the Snow Allegra tip right now. Let me go to the lyrics, actually. Are they here? I just want to let you know. Oh, that's not the words. So yeah, you guys, in the song, she basically says that there are things that she wouldn't do normally, but she does it for love. And I'm like, if that doesn't encompass the entire experience of motherhood, of pregnancy, like, I would never eat 4 salads a day. Like, that has never been my vibe, never been something that I thought about. But here I am eating 4 salads a day, exercising, walking like crazy, you know, making sure that I am these ants trying to get me, y'all. But making sure that I am well fed, even when breastfeeding, because I want my baby to have the best. And I remember when I would look back on it, I would be like, there would be so many things that I would seriously neglect myself for. I would go days, or not days, that's traumatic, but I would go hours without eating just because I didn't feel like eating. Now that I have this baby, I'm like, oh no, he has to eat. So now I'm just doing things I wouldn't normally do. And I just continued to reflect on it, and I'm reading this book called All About Love by Bell Hooks, and it's really speaking to me about love and how we seek love, and the things that we would do for love, the ways that we sacrifice, the ways that we sacrifice positively and negatively for love, for the sake of receiving, for the sake of giving love. And I was like, that is like such a perfect, you know, standpoint to start this whole thing. And there's a place in the Bible actually that I'm thinking about right now. Let me look it up for you guys, where Paul, I believe, is talking about all the spiritual gifts. 1 Corinthians chapter 13 verse 13 actually, it says, I'm reading from the ESV, it says, so now faith, hope, and love abide, these three, but the greatest of these is love. And I love how, you know, you can talk about all the gifts, right? You can talk about all the things that love is. Love is patient, love is kind, love does not keep any record of wrongdoing. And those things are true, you know, but as I look at the state of women now in society and how there's just a lack or a drought of love, you know, women feel loved very little, you know, and even when the love comes up, the transaction, there's always a transaction, you know, there's just no I love you just because. There's no unconditional love, especially when you take God out of the picture, out of the equation. There's no unconditional love. And to be a woman who has never received unconditional love and is now pregnant and called to love someone unconditionally, it's almost like it's a juxtaposition. If I'm using that word correctly, it is a juxtaposition, because how can I do something and give something that I've never received before? And there's also, I told you I've been reading this book, All About Love. Let me see where it's at. Yeah, so Bell Hooks, she says, we yearn for love, that we seek it, even when we lack hope that it can really be found. And it just makes me question, women, are we even capable, if we have never experienced a love, you know, even from our mothers, if we've never experienced a love like that, are we capable of giving it? Especially when God is not in the picture. Like, especially when God is not in the picture and women are just doing this walk alone with no spiritual like foundation or no spiritual backing. Is that possible? And the things that we're even willing to do for love, as genuinely broken individuals, as broken women, women who have been betrayed, women who have been abused, women who have been sexually assaulted, are we able to step up to the task of mothering, and mothering well, if we have not received the love that we're so desperately seeking for? And I think that's a root issue for a lot of the problems, you know, of a lot of things, just my opinion. But yeah, that's where I'm at with this whole labor of love thing. And I just see motherhood as a work. It's work. It's not easy. And you know, a lot of women, we have more women on social media now talking about the fact that not labor, but motherhood and even labor and pregnancy, it's a job. Like, you're carrying and sustaining life for an entire other human being, like not just yourself. Your heart is working overtime, your lungs are working overtime. So How can we bring love back into the picture with the true intent of love, not with what the world says love is? Because the world, in all honesty, society, culture, doesn't even know what love is. They don't. And we can be so very clear of that, because love is now do this for me and now do that for you. That's what the world is saying love is. The world is saying that love is all these things. Love is dressing up for me and cooking and cleaning, and all of those things are nice. They're very good, ways to show your affection, but those are not the essence of love. And I can give you the Bible and all these things and say what I think love is, but at this very moment, outside of that context, outside of what the Bible says, I'm not sure that I know. And I've been renewing my mind on what I think love is and how I show up in love, because I feel like there's also another reality that we want love, but we don't know how to receive it. So when we have a friendship, like I'm going through this thing now where I had to literally talk to my homegirl, and I'm like, hey, I'm so sorry that because of my fear of rejection, because of my fear of abandonment, I have abandoned you. And I was like, that's so backwards, but it's so like us, right? Like, I am so afraid that you will hurt me, so I'll hurt you first, even though I don't intend on it. And I've just been taking this thing to God, because I want to love, and I want to love well. And there's this phrase that's really been on my heart: love and be loved. And in order to love, you have to first know what love is. At the essence of it, what is it about mothering and caring for someone and nurturing that brings that out of us? And if we have to define love for ourselves and set the standard for our children, because that's always what's in my head is, my son, one day he's going to be a father, and before he becomes a father, he's going to be a young man. And do I want him to be a young man that is looking for love in all the wrong places? Do I want him to love from a whole place where he doesn't feel like he's depleted after loving someone? And I think, in all honesty, I can just say the short answer is that we need Jesus and that we need God, which is all very true. But that's a very spiritual context, and I want to know, what are the practical things that allow love to be made, manifest in our lives, in our everyday lives. And I know as a mother, love is me giving my son a bath every day. Love is me making sure that he has food, making sure that I cook. But what happens when I don't have the capacity? Am I still loving? And I was having a conversation the other day with a couple of our friends, and we were literally having the conversation. And one of the guys that was there, these whatever things, Lord, in Jesus' name, keep them away. But one thing that he was saying was that you choose to be a good mom. It's a choice. And I'm like, how is it a choice? It's definitely not a choice. Like, I do not have a choice on whether or not I want to be a good mom. And he was like, you actually do, because you could just not be present. Like, that's a choice. You made that choice to be a super present, hands-on mom, and you're very nurturing, you're very kind, and he wasn't even speaking to me, but that's just what I took from the conversation. You choose to love. And I was like, wow, that's deep. And thinking about myself in that situation, where there are times where I could have loved better, but because I was not willing to choose to do so. And that choosing is hard. It's hard to choose a different outcome. It's hard to choose a different experience. It's hard to choose to do something that you've never done before, whether that be allowing your son to have a super duper tantrum and you've never been given the space to express your emotions in your home when you grew up, or you're choosing to have your son or your daughter wear super nice clothes, or even in friendship, you're choosing to allow your friend to not show up, or whatever the case may be. I believe that there are just things that we choose to do, and it's always a choice. And even when we feel like we don't have a choice, we do. And the question really is, what are you willing to do for love? And not just to give it, but to receive. And as I was reading Bell Hooks, and I was having this vision in my head, it was as if I was seeing myself come to the ocean. And you go to the ocean, and let's say I have this like regular red Solo cup, right? I go to the ocean, I get a cup, right? I actually get the red Solo cup, and I dunk it into the ocean, and I have my full red Solo cup, and I go back, right, to my family, to my job, to my children. I go back there, and I pour out my red Solo cup. I have nothing left. I have to go back to the ocean. And would it be wise for me to go back to the ocean with that same red Solo cup? Absolutely not, because the demand has not shifted in my life. The demand has not shifted on me, who is requiring something of me, whether it be time, attention, love, nurture, whatever. So what do? I build my capacity. I, grab maybe a bowl this time, or maybe a bucket, or maybe I'm not that smart and I take back the same red Solo cup. And I've just been navigating this this question of what are we willing to do for love, and what does that look like in our day-to-day lives as women, with all that we're called to do, with all the work that we do. And yeah, it's kind of super duper deep, but it's really mind-boggling. Like, I have to go deeper, and I'm so excited for next week's episode to really engage with you guys about what I'm learning about love. But this is just a teaser, I guess, or episode 1. What do they call it? A pilot episode. And yeah, this is fun. I do have a closer, though. I have an icebreaker. So my question, I wrote down this question. I got it from Pinterest, and I think I might coin it. Like, everybody, whoever sits down with me, is going to have to answer this question. And my question is, if you could ask God any question right now, what would it be? And to be quite honest, my question would be, why do pregnant women have heartburn? I know that's kind of crazy, random, but actually I'm working with a client right now, and I've worked with other clients who experience really bad heartburn. And you can tell me the scientific definition, the sphincter is weak, and your stomach is compressed, and blah 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 blah, the acid's coming up, so you feel like your heart's burning. But why? Not just why, but how do we stop? How do we cure heartburn? I think that would be my question. What is the cure to heartburn? And if it's an herb, is it a tincture? Like, just let me know in my spirit or something. Like, I need to know. Like, all these women are going to keep coming to me, and I'm going to be like, oh, sorry, I don't have an answer. Like, there has to be an answer. So yeah, if you just so happen to know the cure for heartburn, please, and you've been pregnant before and you've had heartburn and you cured it successfully, leave a message down below. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this video. I'm so excited to see what all God does with this as I lay this down as an offering to him. I enjoyed this time so much. I actually have to go now, and I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. May God be with you, and I can't wait to see you next week. Bye.